All right, friends, we are back with another awesome episode of the Gathering Movement interview series. Today, I'm here with Jonathan Lopez. Hello, Jonathan.
Hey.
How are you doing today?
Pretty good, and you?
Pretty good. I'm excited that we worked out all of our tech mumbo jumbo.
Yes, thank you so much. It's I wanted to actually do these. You came highly recommended from my friend, and as you know, I'm in the process right now going to Arizona for a hunt, so been running around all day.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad that you're here, and I like to kind of start off with a deeper question. And the question is, how does your work in the world, or really your mission in the world, how does that empower people to be the leader of their life?
That is a hard question because in reality, and I always say it, like the type of work that I do, it's impossible to say is selfless. Like in reality, a lot of it is trying to find purpose, the redefining my life. I want to say I lost my identity when I lost my arm because the circumstances how it happened, and it just I have my life plan. Like all of us, like you think that you know what you're gonna do the rest of your life, and all of a sudden, I needed to redefine myself. I was actually reading a book not too long ago, and it was pretty interesting because it was saying that there is no such a thing as a selfless act. Like we always do it for some sort of return. Even when they were saying, even as much as a mother running into a building to save her child, right? Like it sounds pretty selfless, but it is for the reward of the feeling or the fear of the repercussions. Like if I go in there and I save it, like I'm a great mom, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. But if I don't, so that's my answer. Like what I do, if it inspires other ones, I mean, could be a byproduct, and I'm very happy that it's something positive. But in reality, it's all because you just need to redefine purpose. I just want to set a good example for my kids.
I like that answer because I think it's really honest. And like, I do this work in the world because I didn't feel like I had a voice when I was younger. So it really does all come back to probably the personal experience first. And I would love to hear about your origin story and where you felt like you lost your sense of purpose.
So, like I told you, like it has to do with the circumstances. I served in the United States Army. Was an infantry soldier. Was a paratrooper, and during my career in the military, I was aimed towards special operations. Completed Ranger Indoctrination Program, Commando training, attended Special Forces Assessment and Selection. Obviously, in this line of work, injuries or death is something that we are very familiar with. But I thought like that we're like kind of like unbreakable or unstoppable. That like this was something. If I'm gonna die, if I'm gonna get hurt, is going to be in combat. And I was one of those guys that didn't get hurt in combat. I actually had just returned from deployment. Few months back, once again, like not a single scratch or having fun. And all of a sudden, I wake up at Walter Reed Army Medical Center, and I had no idea. Like I don't even remember the week of the accident. I was just leaving the barracks, and I got hit by a drunk driver. So when I was told this, a lot of it is it didn't fit the narrative that I have for my life. Like like it wasn't that much of the loss of the arm. It was the circumstances. It was the not having control. Like if a parachute didn't deploy and I broke my legs, or if I got shot in combat or whatever it was, like it was kind of like, well, it's my decision. I signed up for this and this is great. But like when it was like someone else, like like it completely like cut me off. And I kind of not identify, but like I kind of like when I thought of veterans, like I really thought that if you're an injured veteran, so it's because it was combat related. I didn't really feel like I belong in the community, and it was hard because I didn't fit in the civilian community as well. After Walter Reed, I moved to New York City. I went to school in the city, and I remember I mean, I wasn't that much older than them, but like for me, they were kids, like the kids that I was going to class with, talking about, oh, I know a place, I know a bodega where you can buy beer. You give a guy a 20x or something. And I'm like, that's what matters. Like, we're in the middle of a war. Like, there's people dying. And I'm sitting in there. Like, it was too much of a shock, like from one world to another one. Just like at that point, it's when pretty much started spiraling out of control.
It's interesting what you're saying, because this makes a lot of sense, right? You have this narrative or this story in mind of, okay, you signed up for this. So if I were to get hurt or if I were to die, it's because of X, Y, and Z.
Mm-hmm.
And then your reality was basically shattered because something unexpected happened. And then it sounds like the journey was, okay, how do I navigate back to who the heck I am? And how do I then meander and navigate in a world where I don't feel like I have a place?
Yeah.
Damn. So how did we do that? How did you do it? How did you find yourself in this journey?
And that's pretty cliche, but I had to hit rock bottom. I had to pretty much start from the bottom floor. Like everything that I thought I was gonna do before didn't matter. I just started from the ground up. I'm going to say, after the military, I want to say hitting rock bottom. After the military, I never really did drugs. Wasn't my thing. Grew up with my grandmother, so I still if I thought about it, even the thought about it, I thought she was gonna hit me in the back of the head. And when I got hurt, I didn't know. I didn't know the opiates, the problem that it was of anything. So in my head, I was just taking what was prescribed to me. So one of the problems with taking pain medication or anything that helps you to deal with pain or depression or anything whatsoever is that is a form of avoiding suffering. At the same time, as you avoid suffering, you're not living. To live is to suffer. You have to embrace it. I don't want to say go out there and seek pain, but you have to embrace it. Whatever is bad, you have to learn how to deal with it. That's what life is. If you mask it with narcotics or any other type of behavior, you're not gonna grow. This is gonna be that's gonna be the answer. So now there is pain. Now let's just bury it, put it in the closet or mask it, get high, whatever it is. And B, one of the problems that I did see with the pills too is there is no separation between bad feelings and good feelings. You're being numb, so you become, and excuse my French, but what everybody embraces right now, that zero fucks mentality. You have to find something to give a fuck about. You can't be numb. You can't, if you don't give a fuck, what's the point,
Yeah, and I think this conversation is important for so many reasons, because many people are numbing themselves. Mm-hmm. And it might not just be from prescription pills, but it might be from food or sex or toxic relationships. And I think the real thing that we're talking about here is that you have to face your shit. You have to be able to see it and then say to yourself, this is not how I want to live.
Absolutely.
So where did the journey start to take you when you realized that, okay, you hit rock bottom, this is not how you want to live? What changed?
Everything had to change. That's one of the hardest things. Wanting to change is easy. That's the thought. That's a positive, go happy feeling thing. I want to change. I want to be better. That's the easy part, Now having the discipline to carry that on is when it gets really complicated. Rock bottom was, believe it or not, that's about caring. When I didn't care about anything, I don't want to say I was happy, but it seemed like I was happy. And I actually even believed my own crap. I was happy, I didn't care about anything. So then all of a sudden, I have a kid. So the first one I call her the practice kid, because it doesn't really hit you. I know I was a dad and I was super cool. I got a kid and I had I'm full of great bad ideas. So I'm you know what? I want another ones because I didn't have a sibling. So like they will be together, you know, like close in age. That's still that decision still bites me to today because they're so close together. Yeah. So when the second one hit, it's kind of like I'm a dad for real. Like, you know, and now there's a couple, you know. And with the pills at that point, I wasn't really aware of the addiction. I wasn't really aware that I was addicted to it. Like all I knew is that they were gonna present a problem long term. Like, you know, like I was honestly taking an insane amount of medication. I was taking, how many were there? Like I think it was 2 Oxycontins a day, 4 milligrams each, and then I was taking 6 Percocets for breakthrough pain in between. So like, yeah, I was over 100 milligrams worth of Oxycontin a day. Like I was numb. Wow. And like they told me that's gonna destroy your liver and all the stuff. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. That's a 30, that's a 40. Like, who cares? You know, I'm not gonna be there. When you have kids, and I started looking at the fact, and you start doing math, and I'm like, wow, he's gonna be 16 when I'm this age or whatever. Like, I started looking at these dates in the future when my liver wasn't gonna be there, and I'm like, maybe I can put this to the side. When I decided to stop taking the medication, that was rock bottom, because now I was faced with the fact that like I have an addiction. Like I didn't know until the point that I wanted to stop taking it, because like for me it was never an illegal substance. Like it was never like I was buying it out. Like it was just a prescription and I was taking it as directed. That was the beginning of the end. Like I was that guy that stops smoking. So what he does is he stops buying cigarettes and then he smokes everybody else's kind of. I was that guy. Like I was stop with the medication, but then I'll craving a week later and then we'll take double of it. And then like I started spending like a week without, a week on. Like it was horrible. And it just led to depression. Like for the first time, I wanted to have a future and I felt like it wasn't there and I didn't even know. So when you say what had to change, it's like everything had to change. Like it's unfortunate. I mean, I'm very lucky. My single dad, I have a custody of my kids, but it's unfortunate that sometimes, and you have to see it, like that's never been the one that like talks bad about an ex because that's the person that I was with, because whatever circumstances, that's the person I wanted to have kids. It's unfortunate when one person decides to make a change and they're like, you can't force the other one. That's not something that you can do, you know? So the journey started. Like when I say everything, like you have to change everything. You have to let go of friendships, relationships, what you knew about life, what you thought mattered at the end, and just start again, one block at a time.
I appreciate that you even say you have to change relationships, you have to change everything. And I think a lot of people don't want to do that because I find that people are actually comfortable in their chaos. Like people can be comfortable in their misery. And my question for you is, how do you bring those people out of it? Or is it their own decision? They have to choose.
How do you bring it out of it? Like, if it doesn't fit, it doesn't fit. Like, it's something, it's not the first time nor the last. Like, you know, we'll continue to evolve, and like you're either gonna meet new people, you have to make the space. But you have to clean. Like, if not, you're gonna be, all right, I'm gonna give you an example that is very basic. Like, you know, like after everything, I got really big. I was like 230 something pounds. And when you start losing weight, right? The best thing that you can do is anything that doesn't fit you anymore because it's a little bit too big. I don't care if your grandma gave it to you. Throw it away. Because if it fits, that gives you the room to go back to where it was, because I still have those pants, you know? So like, it's the same. Yeah, it's the same thing. Like, if you keep these, it's kind of like, what was it, Cortez? You remember the conquistador Cortez? When they arrived, burn the chips. You know, like you have to get rid of that. Like if you keep those friendships or whatever it is because it's a way out, like we're weak. Like I'm weak. Like eliminate temptation. Yeah. So as you start moving forward, it's one of the hardest things, but like it's kind of cool.
In this process, where did you find working out and fitness? Because it sounds like that was really pivotal in the journey too for you.
That was, I want to say, step number one. fitness was always a part of who we are. I mean, in the military is crucial. It's kind of it determines where you can go or where you can't, you know, like, and I mean, it's like our lives kind of depend on the level of fitness that you have. So it was a big part of who I was. I think in reality, like I started working out because I just needed to feel better about myself. But like it's bigger than that. Like when you work out, like it's not just about the muscles or losing weight, you know? It's honestly, it's about discipline, it's about commitment, it's about completing what you say you're gonna do. Because I'm not that guy. I don't smile on a treadmill machine. Like I'm miserable. And I'm just looking at a little clock going down, like 5 more minutes, or let's stay here for 5 more minutes, you know? It's not my happy place, but it's just, it builds discipline, it helps you like with the commitment and everything else. And I think the way that you do anything is the way that you do everything. So like my start at the gym, you know, it sucks because a lot of people from the outside usually, Josh, you know, like I want to say like people that work out as, you know, shallow, whatever it is, but like this, it's a battle more than like, I don't care about a 6-pack. It's something else, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a big part. That was the beginning. And then, but like set other goals because that can be it. Like my goal was never to be the best exerciser in the world. For me, I'm killing leg day. I'm killing this. Like who cares, you know?
Yeah. I really appreciate that too, because the words that stick out to me are these words of discipline and commitment, and I'll add consistency in there too, because those 3 forces carry me through my life. And it's not just at the gym, it's the philosophy, it's the mentality behind it. And it's not that the gym is everything and I want abs. It's literally about this one thing that I do mirrors everything else that I do. So if I give up here, that means I'm giving up in other aspects of my life. And it sounds like we have a similar approach to that. It's interesting because I work with I'm a yoga teacher. I work online and I work with a lot of women who don't necessarily have that within them. It's something you have to almost cultivate, this idea of discipline and commitment. And I believe it's really, really freaking important.
Yes.
I would love to hear about your Spartan races too.
So I would say it's obstacle course racing. I know it's redundant to use the word again, but it's about facing your obstacles. And there's kind of like what we were saying about the gym. So when you go and you see a wall, a 12-foot wall or wherever it is, you know, it's not just a wall. It's not just a piece of plywood being in there. It's actually like overcoming something that you couldn't do. Like, so start working out, doing a lot of stuff. I'm like running on bicycles. Like actually my first event, like major event, like that was an obstacle course race. And a friend of mine wanted to sign up and create a team. So obviously I signed up, and then like we signed up like 6 months in advance. So like, you know, it's like 3 months or 2 months before the event. I'm like, so let me see what I signed up for. And I YouTube this video. So Spartan at the time, like they were being broadcast by NBC or something. And I'm looking at these guys going through these. I didn't know, and I'm glad I didn't know that doing burpees was an option. I didn't know that if you don't complete an obstacle, that you can do 30 burpees and go around like that. Because I'm watching the pros running through it. So I'm like, I gotta climb ropes. I'm like, I got one arm. What the hell did I sign up for? You know? And I'm glad I didn't know, because then at this point I signed up I was working out at a regular gym, and I found a CrossFit gym just because they have ropes and monkey bars and like all this stuff that you can play with. And I sat up and I went every single day, like sometimes twice a day, attempted every single technique that I could to like climb rope. Like my hand was just blisters. Like I had blisters on my legs. And like, I want to say like a month before the competition, like I just went up. Like it it all came together, like all the repetitions, everything. And it was such an amazing feeling. So like that one translates into the obstacle course, like it will always translate into challenges in life. Like I work my ass off to be able to climb rope with one hand. And every time that like we get faced with another one in there, like just thinking one time, like the Yokohama tire was 500 pounds, you know, like so I started deadlifting more and deadlifting more because I never wanted to take the easy way out. Like burpees is not an option. I hate burpees too.
They suck.
Yeah, but it's especially not an option when you are taking it because you don't want to face that obstacle because of heights, because of this. So I figure out how to do every single one of those.
Yep. I feel like in all those races, it's like a lifetime in a couple of hours.
Mm-hmm.
A lifetime of challenges, of wins, of ups and downs. Like the way I see life is it's like this. It really is. And what I like to teach is like, how can you remain like and hold your calm through it all so you can win at the wins and you can still prevail during the challenges. And I think Spartan races or obstacle races or races and anything fitness in general is a life example of that happening for us.
Yep, I agree. I agree.
I think what I really admire about you is this philosophy and your mindset and your motivation behind anything that you do. It sounds like it's beyond just the gym. So I'd love to hear a couple of like your main mindsets or philosophies that carry you through life.
I have a motto. I read that somewhere. It was dumb. So it's dumb. Sorry. Super attention. So I read that somewhere. I thought it sounded super dumb, and every time I say it sounds dumb, but it applies. And I always say like, you know, die first, then quit. What I was saying about the gym, that, you know, like you build the discipline to continue to go every day, and just like it carries into everything in life. Everything in life makes life itself. I had to develop that, again, that no quit mentality. And so part of the rock bottom part, after I fell through the pills and I started taking more and less and this and that, is I gave up. I was like, that's it. Like, I'm not going to win this battle. And I ended up, not sound cliche because it happened a lot. I know why they do it at the VA, but I ended up attempting suicide at the VA. I took the last time that I took those medication, I took the entire month's supply, drank it with a Red Bull, and did it. Like, it made sense in my head. Like, I didn't want to use a weapon because I thought it would be a mess. There's nobody else thing to see, like, you know, coming into an apartment. I'm an organ donor, so it made sense. I'm doing it in the hospital. Maybe they can save something and it will save a life. So that's like the ultimate giving up. So after that, I just say I was never going to give up on anything again. And it sucks because then sometimes I get myself into something. I'm like, why am I doing this? Because there was an interview once that they asked my kids, like, you know, something about what you admire about your dad. He's like, whenever he says he's going to do something, he does it, you know? So that's my mantra, you know, just don't quit.
I love it. My husband, if he's watching this right now, he always says something very similar. And he says, whenever I commit to something, I never falter. And I'm always like, but what if I don't feel like it? And he's like, no, we don't give it. So I love that. What is your kind of biggest mission for the people that you can reach in your life?
My biggest mission, it's a tough one because that's why I appreciate what you're doing right now. Like, honestly, so with Operation Enduring Warrior, I as a team member, I did, I don't know, a bazillion obstacle course races. Like, we're always challenging people to the physical part. And part of me, I don't know why, like making up for time or whatever it was, I kept seeking more and more. Like, did death races across the desert and swim. Oh, we're all actually like we swim from Alcatraz to San Francisco, like you name it. It's like I was literally like sitting in my computer at night, like Googling the 100 toughest things. And like, I don't know what I was looking for. Like, was like this breaking point. If so, then we started a program that is called Warriors Voice. But doing public speaking, the first time that we did public speaking, like my team was at the edge of the seats. Like he's just gonna curse and tell everybody stop, being such a, and that was actually the first time I cried. Like I literally cried. I'm sitting in front of everybody, and there was a kid on the cell phone or something. Like, and I'm like, listen up, shit. Like, your life is about to change, because we were talking at our warrior transition unit. So my mission, when I say really tough, I'm not here to break deadlifting records or anything like that. Like, that's not what I want to leave behind. And if I can share some of what I've been through for someone, so they don't have to go through the same, or at least not as bad, or at least know that there is a way out. Like, there's other things. Like, I'm fine with that. Like, if I can provide just a little light, somewhere on the other side, then they can say like, well, knew a guy and his life was fucked up, and now he's here. So that little light, that's enough.
I love that. And this is why I love sharing stories and interviewing people and sharing our voices, because we realize that we've all had some struggle in our life, and we're not alone. When we share that, maybe we can give some hope or some insight or some inspiration to someone who might be dealing with something similar on their path. So I appreciate that. Appreciate that.
Honestly, like, I appreciate what you're doing, because it's like people like you are what keeps the flame alive. Because like right now, when they invented the internet or like social media, I'm never the guy that is gonna say like there's like evil plans behind. I'm telling you, the person that invented these was like, this is amazing. Like, now we're gonna provide a voice to the entire world, like, and everybody's gonna be able to express and communicate or so. And like right now, it's just somehow it went wrong, and it's like dividing and doing all this stuff and creating those. But there's still the good in there. So
hell yeah.
Whenever I see a good, like, you have to share it. You have to. It's a powerful weapon, but if you use it right, it's a great tool.
Oh, hell yeah. I love that. Yeah, that's exactly it. We have a choice. I mean, like anything in life, we have a choice how we use this tool. We have a choice whether we go to the gym or not. We have a choice whether we have good conversations and think good things about ourselves. We have a choice. And I appreciate that you and I can have a conversation of depth and share it with people on the internet. Like, how cool. My last question for you is, who has been an inspiring mentor, teacher, just someone in your life?
Earl.
And
I'm telling you, it's by connection. Like, you already talked to Earl, so you know some of the story. Like, he always talks about the way that he carries or so. And to this day, this is the thing, like, about suicide or so. Most people cannot understand, because you have to be in those shoes. I've been in those shoes, and I can rationalize. I can still think about where I was then, and to be honest, like, to this day, like, I still suffer from pain from a lot of stuff, and I'm like, I want it to end. Through Earl, I was able to learn firsthand that I see that it doesn't end right there. Like, you pass it to other ones, and like, seeing him and seeing how he continues the mission or so, and I just gotta keep going. Like, no matter, like, life is not easy. It's never gonna be, but you gotta carry your weight. Like, I cannot imagine what it would have been if I was successful back there. Because you remember at the beginning of the interview that I told you, like, I even believed my own crap. I thought I was happy. Why? Because I didn't care about nothing. Like, everybody's, oh my God, you're missing an arm or whatever, you're happy. I'm like, yeah, I don't give a crap. I was going to bed at 4 o'clock in the morning, waking up at 12. Just, my life wasn't going anywhere. But look, I look happy. I was out in clubs. I was straight clubs, doing whatever, and like out with friends and drinking. So like when I was truly unhappy is when I started caring about something. So like imagine if I was successful in my suicide and my kids ever grew up to ask someone that knew me, so how was your father? Oh, he was the happiest man in the world. So he was the happiest man until we were born, and then that's a big pile of crap to live on somebody. So
yeah. Well, thank you so much. And how can people get in contact with you? How can they learn more about what you're doing? Do you have any links, anything you can send, any places you can send people?
Usually through I have a social media, I have a Instagram left. Like you bring the light, because I'm telling you, I was so done with everything, like closing everything down, but I haven't been able to close that one because like I have met so many good people that sometimes reach out. So Instagram is Jonathan.A. Lopez. Yeah. Sometimes I post bad stuff.
Yeah, but some people might like that. It's fine. Yeah. I love it. Well, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your conversation. I really appreciate you being here.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And thank you to everyone who's watching. And thank you for just supporting this mission and receiving these voices and these awesome freaking people. So thank you, everyone, and have a beautiful day. Be back soon.